those of the program host and guest and not WSTU. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU.
Don't buy another pair of glasses until
Talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum. Get interested, get educated, get involved.
Opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not WSTU. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU.
The Treasure Coast longest running local talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum. Get interested, get educated, get involved, and give us a call with your opinions at 220-9788. And here's your host of the Treasure Coast Forum.
Do I speak? Ayo, everybody. You're listening to WSTU 1450 Treasure Coast Forum. I am Amira Meehan, and I'm here with Mr. Frank Metzapelli and Pittsburgh Deb.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So, yes, we're here live and in color. So, we made it. We did it. All right. So, yeah, mine's a little bit too hot. Okay, very good. So you said that you've got a rant that you want to...
I have too many rants about too many things.
Okay.
So, I'm going to be 18 soon, right? And I'm going to college. And, of course, I'm looking at all the credentials you need to apply to all these colleges, right?
Right.
And so my safety school's FIU. I'm pretty much guaranteed in with the credentials I have now, regardless, even with a crappy ACT and SAT score.
Which is not going to happen.
Oh, no. It's a crappy. It's already happened. It's very crappy.
Oh. Oh. So, okay.
It's the only credential I don't qualify for, every single one I have.
Okay.
So anyway, that's the only school I'm going to get into. But the thing is, I don't want to because it's Miami, and I hate Miami, and I hate clubbing, and I hate,
Okay.
I hate teenagers.
Yeah.
In any generation. Like, even I watch a 1940s movie, and I get so annoyed when I see a teenager then.
Yeah.
So I just hate teenagers, period. No matter what decade, what time period, no matter what country, just hate teenagers. I don't want to go to Miami. Anyway.
Okay.
So that's why
Okay.
only other options I have to be like, I kind of actually want to go to Stanford.
Yeah.
Because
California.
yeah, don't like California.
Yeah.
But I like Stanford.
Yes.
So, and there's always the abroad office if I want to leave, if it gets too crazy. So that's also nice. But I have a feeling that English schools with my credentials would be easier for me to get in. So what I could do is that I can go to the abroad office of the English school that I got into and get into Georgetown without getting into Georgetown. I just have to get into an easier school to get into the other school that people think is at the same caliber, but really isn't.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to in terms of going in, education is really good.
So what's your end game in the school curriculum?
The school curriculum? Well, I mean, curriculum is not my concern. I think networking is huge, and just why I like an English school more is because of the tutorial system. I've talked about this all the time. Because I don't want to go. I could watch any lecture on any YouTube video if I wanted to.
True.
Right. But the tutorial system is different. So it's like you're at this college because of the facilities that you have. And so you use them wisely because you don't follow something a person tells you what to do. You look at what you're interested in and you have to do your own thing. Right. It's not just regurgitating. It's actual practice. That's why I like the tutorial system more. And that's probably why a bunch of U.S. schools, especially Ivy League, will send you to Oxford or anything like that because they know the value.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But one thing that's always concerned me is that the best education is always available to the best students.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you think about that, when a student is the best, right? What is a student? Is someone who's really good at learning. So this is someone who's innately already really good at learning. And why would they don't exactly need a facility to help them learn if they're so good at learning on their own.
Yeah, valid point.
So why aren't these best schools why aren't we giving best education to kids who aren't the best educated?
Right.
Because they just determine because you're perfect, we'll let you have the perfect facilities. No, that really it just doesn't make sense. So it's like giving a really skinny model, like like Twiggy, a dieting plan on top of everything she already does.
Right.
Instead of giving it to someone like Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Or
That's
jelly
why
roll.
it doesn't make sense.
Right.
It just shows where the values of the education system really are. They
Hmm.
just someone's getting money, they
They're-
need to look good.
They're contraindicated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there were slow learners. Like I am one of those slow learners that need help. I'm definitely not one
I
of those
can't believe
innately
you're
bright kids.
I can't
I'm a
believe-
fast talker,
Yes.
but when it comes to learning, I still have not perfected washing my hair yet.
Oh, I thought you had that done.
I thought I did too, but I
Right.
started screwing up again,
Well, no.
which means I have to relearn everything.
Well, go and visit Debbie because she's a professional hairstylist.
Thank you.
Yes, she
Okay,
can. She'll hook
I'll
you up.
see Pittsburgh Deb.
Yes.
But see, that's the thing. You recommended someone who's bad at washing hair to the best who washes hair, right?
Right.
Not the best student. Like if I knew how to wash my hair really well, you wouldn't recommend me to the best hairstylist. You know,
Hmm.
because I already know how to do it. That's why that logic makes no sense to me. Why do I have to be perfect to go to the best school? Can't just me just wanting to learn be enough? It's so annoying.
Hmm.
The whole thing. It makes me doubt the whole thing. And that's why I don't have the type of enthusiasm the other kids have when applying these schools. Like these schools, it's like it's the whole life. Oh my God, applications are coming. We have to do this. We have to do that. And I'm just there sitting around being like, oh,
Have you ever watched the videos from a guy by the name of Charlie Kirk?
no.
Okay. All right. Google him.
Okay, I'll Google him.
Yes.
But it's not like I don't have respect for these schools. They have the facilities. It's
Mhm.
just the way the people in the schools, the way they're selling themselves, the way
Mhm.
they're valuing themselves is a red flag.
Hmm.
It just freaks me out. It's just weird. I think again, like the institutions like Princeton would have never taken Einstein as a kid.
No.
But then of course later on they'll pay him to come.
Yeah.
So it's just they'll never learn. But I know the one people who will never learn is the education system. It's the
Right.
one thing that doesn't change, which is strange. So
Right.
ironic.
Right.
But yeah, that's a little college rant I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got that all out of your
I
system now?
got the college rant out.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, if you wanted to know what I mean by poopy SAT, ACT, my ACT is 27, my SAT is 1150. And yes, I did study for months. So it's not like,
Okay.
she just went in and slept. I tried my best.
Yeah.
So,
So
at least it's higher than Lyndon B. Johnson.
okay.
He got like 26 on the ACT.
Okay.
But if you've seen like the stuff he's doodled on napkins, I'm not surprised.
Okay. So what is the goal of those on those scores?
Well, I mean, 36 is the highest for ACT,
okay.
right? 1600 is highest for SAT. So for most Ivy League schools, usually the kids have a 1500 for an SAT and, a 35 or 34 or 32 at least for ACT.
Hmm.
So mine's pretty low.
Mhm.
low.
Well,
But that's only one little thing. It's
Yeah.
just one number. I'm not worried about it because I looked at statistics and ever since some schools got test optional, like I think for like Dartmouth, 20% of kids didn't got in and didn't submit any score at all. I'll submit mine no matter how poor it is.
Hmm.
Yeah. But also another rant that I have that I've seen in the education system is that when you look at these Ivy League schools, right? You see the kids that go there. All of them don't turn out geniuses. Okay, that's one thing. But they're a bunch of nut jobs. You've seen what's going, the Palestinian protests? I found out because I know a kid who goes to Columbia.
Hmm.
And she told me that those protesters were not actual students.
no, they were paid.
Yes.
Yes.
The students gave them the IDs. That's even stupider.
Stupider.
That's even stupider. Yes. I don't care. I can
Is that-
invent as many words as I want so long as the point comes across. I
Is
don't
that
care.
grammatically correct?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Why do you think I scored horribly on the grammar section on the SAT? Also, Richard Feynman said that it's way more important simplifying things. So long as a point goes across, you're just as smart as the grades. So
Right.
I totally agree with that.
Right.
When
Now,
I say
for our
stupider,
listeners, tell them who Richard. I
Richard
know who he
Feynman
is,
was a
but
physicist
yes,
and he played the bongos.
yes, he was a neat guy. He's pretty.
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So
And-
that's good. Yes.
So like another rant. So they're all stupid anyway. So then why the heck? The thing is, how do they get all these credentials and stuff? The problem is they're not stupid. They just have poor character.
Mm,
And what builds character is losing.
right.
That, in my opinion, I would not be a great person if I didn't lose. I lose all the time. And I'm not saying I'm the best person ever, but when you achieve things and you achieve things all the time, sure, you're amazing. When you keep winning and stuff, you don't learn from anything and you just achieve. So that's why we have so many people in the Senate and the House of Representatives who are just stuck about getting reelected because they don't know anything else. They never lost in their lives.
Right.
They're the cream of the crop, apparently.
Right.
And, you know, the cream of the crop, they never actually go into the soil and know how things grow.
Yeah.
Wow. Weird, man.
It's nice. I like it.
But yeah, that's the thing. So when, you know, us who are still growing, when you lose, you start growing again and again and again all over again. And a great example, I think, is Donald Trump. He's a really good loser. And, you know, when he was president the first time, even before he ran for president, he was America's darling. When he started running, everyone hated him and made fun of him. I was also one of those people who made fun of him. I have like a Donald Trump stress ball. It's like a big, fat, bloated head of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I had it when I was like 16, like, what was it? I think 2016 is when I got it, like during the election.
Right.
Like everyone had like Donald Trump whoopee cushions. One of my friends is like a sock with like Donald Trump's hair sticking out and he just like pulls the hair, you know? So he just became, you know, an object of ridicule. Right. And I'm sure like it's a little funny, but I've never seen a president be ridiculed as much as Donald Trump before. Like that was a little went too far.
Right.
My feelings would be hurt if someone played with my hair on a sock. But yeah. Anyway, so when he lost because of like the assassination attempt and all these indictments, because of that, because of him losing, people who didn't support him are now actually respecting him. Right. Because he was losing. He gained more as he lost. And now he knows like the value of more things. That's why he's not just a great candidate because he was just, you know, a guy who could do things while he was in office and stuff like that. And he has no reason to gain or accept bribes because he's already rich as heck. But because he lost so many times. And because he lost so many times, it builds trust, in my opinion. And these kids who just get in and they win all the time.
It's character building.
It's character, yeah, exactly. Yes. Since they haven't lost, they have no idea. They don't know the value of anything.
Right.
They don't even know. And like these are kids like when the day they lose is the day they give up.
Right.
Whereas with losers like me, the day we lose is just another day.
Right. It's just Tuesday.
Yes, it's just Tuesday. So I don't know. I'm just a little worried. What if I don't get into any college at all?
Yes, you will. I promise you.
FIU, I know I will.
Okay.
IRSC is always there.
Yes.
They'll take a felon.
Well, you're not a felon, so.
Yeah, so I definitely will get an IRSC.
Yes.
They would still consider taking a felon, though, I'm pretty sure. IRSC is great. They have like a 99% acceptance rate. The 1% is probably like if you die in the middle of admissions.
So that would definitely disqualify you.
Yeah,
yes. Poor, and Debbie's just shaking her head. So.
Yeah, that's my college rant.
All right.
Now I have a religion rant.
Really? Okay. All right.
Okay, so my religious rant is this.
About is this the one that having to do with what happened in Paris?
No, not just that. I heard about that, but I'm just gonna talk about the root of the problem. I know like that stuff is. I don't know too much about it, but I heard about what happened in Paris.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not a sports person, so I didn't really watch everything. I heard that the opening ceremony, though, rivaled the 2012 English one. I can't accept that.
Right.
No, we had Eric Idle sing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life." That is the peak Olympic ceremony. I don't give a crap.
All right.
And then we had like a CGI video of like the Queen meeting James Bond and jumping out of a helicopter. I love that. So no, I don't care. The French will never be. I don't like the French, but I love France. I just don't like the French people.
Really?
They're too mean. I like Belgians more because they speak French, but they're just the cooler French people.
Right.
Also, French fries come from them.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Belgium's where French fries are from.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Not France.
Okay.
Just France is annoying. I don't know. I just feel like they're all children. Even you could be a poor guy in France and still act like an entitled rich man. Somehow. And that's so annoying. They think they're better than everyone else. I mean, most people think they're better than everyone else, but French people think they're just better than everyone else just because they're French. Okay. Not because of money, like just because you're French.
Right.
I have seen so many like rude
But
French
there's some
people.
really, like, for example, in American history,
Lafayette is different.
I mean, what an amazing character.
I know. He called George Washington his dad, which is so adorable.
Right.
They like have these cute little letters. It's so adorable. Like
Right.
literally, Lafayette is George's like adopted French son.
Right.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's different. He was young, and that was a different time. Also, there was a French Revolution going on. So I mean,
Yeah.
things were changing.
But he used his own resources and
Oh
helped-
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
he came
just-
here.
and he
Yeah.
was well, and so he came back years later as to a hero's welcome, and he was treated, quite with great appreciation and respect, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
great.
Yeah.
Well, that's Lafayette.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And-
talking about the average French dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say there will be some cool French people,
Yeah.
but then then there's also the half French people like Timothy Chalamet. He's cool, but like part of me doesn't like him, and I think it's the part of him that's French.
Mm.
But other than that, it's fine.
Okay.
He does look like a diseased lizard,
Disease.
but he has some talent.
Okay.
Maybe a lot more talent than I'm giving him credit for. But we'll leave Timothy Chalamet for now. But my religious rant. How much time do we have till break?
It
Like
is
10 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes,
Mhm.
8 minutes? Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
can
got
go
10
for
minutes.
that.
You can do 10 minutes.
So,
okay.
My personal belief, I'm agnostic. So I believe in God, right?
Right.
Some higher thing.
Right.
And I definitely believe in the lessons and principles that religions give, especially Christianity. I went
Mhm.
to Sunlight Christian Academy for 1 year. And I loved it, even though I treated it as like the Bible, whatever they showed was like a TV show for me, and Jesus was like the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that they resurrected him so they would save the ratings. But at the time, that was my child brain. But I loved it. I loved like the lessons and everything, and I took them all to
Right,
heart. So I love
right.
that stuff. But I just don't believe in religion. I don't follow any religion. And the
Hmm.
thing is, God made the words, man made the church, and that's the problem. And so the thing is, there's so many people, and it's great to follow religion, use it as like a basis to do good.
Right.
But so many people do
guidepost.
bad with it,
Right.
and this is exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest mistake is that people start thinking that God is someone who has the wants like a man. When we start comparing him or start thinking about him the way that we can only understand him.
Right.
When we, disregard the fact that he's beyond our comprehension. He might be a she, they, them, but the fact that he didn't tell us the pronouns means that he doesn't care.
Right.
So I'll just call him a he anyway.
Right.
So they just don't think about that. So they think, I understand God all of a sudden. And so then like the human ego takes over, and then whatever they want, they project it in God's name every single time. And it's horrible. Because if God really wanted stuff or wanted to be worshipped in the way that other people think he wanted to be worshipped, he would come down here and start glowing, and then have the voice of Morgan Freeman and tell everyone to kneel. And then we would all just focus on him and give him all our attention, because if we want to,
It's God.
make sure we're his favorite.
Right.
Right. But the fact that he didn't show up says a lot. All right. The fact that he didn't show up says a lot. So that means that he didn't mean for these institutions to be created. We just did it because we're crazy. And we just need the order, we need the control. Or maybe we're just, he wants to laugh at us. Or maybe he doesn't laugh. I don't know. But yeah, and then we're like so egocentric to think that God made us in his image. Absolutely not. There's no way he would have armpit hair and just have to deal with bowel movements. Like, why would he do that? He's the most powerful thing ever. He doesn't want to look like us. Why are we're always self-important. I'll go to climate change people next after I talk about these self-important religious people. And then there's these mega churches.
Yes.
Oh my God, with the stadiums.
Right.
And a priest or pastor will come in a private jet, go on and talk about giving and how we should all be humble.
Right.
As I drive in your private jet and all y'all are wearing my face on on a t-shirt and cheering in a stadium.
Right.
Right? It's ridiculous.
And they pass the hat.
Everyone is too worried about finding out what God wants when really they're just finding out what they want God to want. Every single time. This causes the Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, the Taliban, Hamas, everything because of this stupid, so annoying. Just leave it alone. I think what we're supposed to do is live, laugh, love, and just be nice to people and just live simple lives like that,
So like the
just
10
like
commandments.
appreciate what God made. Look
Right.
at a flower and be like, that's pretty. And God will be like, thank you. I spent time designing that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All that drama is just absolutely driving me crazy. All of that drama. And in India, they have these statues they make, right? Because they believe in all these different gods that, they designed. It's like video game characters, Ganesh with the elephant head. It's cool, right? But they have all these statues, and the thing is, they offer the food to these statues that statues don't eat. But they put the food next to the statues. They bathe them in milk, right? Statues, I mean, all you have to do is wipe them. You don't have to bathe them in milk, but,
Right.
Let's do that,
All right.
right? What happens to the food and the milk? They spoil,
Right.
and then they throw them away.
Right.
No wonder the people are starving. You're giving all your food to statues that will never eat it. It's ridiculous. And then another thing, like all of these, if you want to know like what God has planned for you, pay me $50. I'll come to your house. I'll shower you with flowers and tell you what's going to happen next week. Of course, money. It all goes down to that. It's just so annoying. But one thing that is cool is in Amritsar, which is a place in India, there's a golden temple there.
Right.
And they offer prasad, which is like a treat. That's like God's treat. It tastes so good. But they give it for free. All you have to do is show up. So that's why it's the one place in the world where someone can if they move, they won't starve because they just have to go there and get a little bit of the prasad. My mom makes it. It's really good. So that's great. That's nice.
Yep.
But
very good.
We have 3 minutes left. Pittsburgh Deb, you want to say anything?
Nope. You can keep the music going.
She's just the board operator.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's okay. All right. So we thank you for listening for the first half of the show. And we'll be back after this station timeout. And we've got much more to cover when we return. So stick with us.
I think we're back on the air.
Are we back on the air? Can you hear my voice?
I
through the
think
microphone?
yes, I can hear your voice.
Oh yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new board operator, Pittsburgh Deb. So she's doing a much better job than I did the one time I operated a board. So that's great. We just got back on air. Mr. Frank is walking back to his seat, and the eagle has landed. I repeat, the eagle has landed.
All right. Well, we thank everybody for sticking with us, and we've got much more to cover here. So there's a lot going on in the news today. Eesh, that's pretty noisy. and this is according to Newsmax, the online publication. Trump is demanding to know how bad was the prison deal. So in case you missed it, apparently there was a prisoner swap.
16 countries or 16 people.
16 people and in different countries. So there were a bunch of spies that were arrested across the world, and they've been sitting in prisons over the years. And and of course they the Russians in their infantilism thought it was a good idea to arrest and prosecute a journalist, right? Who is definitely not a spy.
No, he wasn't.
No. And
And
but
didn't
by
he just go on trial last month and they gave him like 24 years or something?
27 or something
that.
like that. Yeah. And so yeah, but now today made it all come into focus. Now I know why they arrested him as a spy, because they were looking for
someone
leverage.
to trade.
Correct. It all makes sense. So it was just that. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Israel actually went in deep into Iranian territory and took out a bad guy. So that's going to be interesting to see how Iran responds.
Right.
So that's good.
Did I tell you about that video of a son from I think the leader of Hamas who got out and then started going on talk shows talking about how crazy Hamas is? Like a son, like a
Yes.
little, like the son of like he literally got out and went on a talk show, and there were Palestinian protesters in the audience,
Right.
and he knocked them down, and he himself used to be Hamas.
Right.
So
I've seen
still,
these interviews.
I
yes.
know it's so blatantly obvious, and people are just stupid.
Right. Easily manipulated, I think, is the.
But how can you be easily manipulated if the truth is right there? Like from the biggest, like that's the biggest source.
Right.
Like I understand if you don't want to trust me or, another article or a bunch of, rich Jews or Jerry Seinfeld. I get that. But when you see the actual son of the organization that you're supporting saying that the organization is bad, how could you deny that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. No, I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
and
That's a little crazy.
He's got the street cred, and so when you have the credentials that he's not just somebody saying stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He came right from the main thing.
Right.
The juice.
And he had critical thinking, and he was able to
Not critical thinking, common sense.
well, that I mean,
But nowadays it's critical thinking.
Correct.
You need to think critically to have common sense.
it seems to be.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Back in the day, Dad, they used to call that horse sense, right? Remember
Right.
that? Right.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of it's been a form of frustration for years,
Oh yeah.
So it's been 11 days since Biden announced that he wasn't going to withdrew his.
And of course, Kamala's whole campaign is race and Trump's a racist. That's the whole campaign
right
now.
Right.
As soon as I look at the news, it's just Kamala saying Trump is a racist, and then here's why, and then it's like a bunch of things. And
so here's an interesting thing, and you could maybe elucidate on this. When she was running for senator, I think for the state of California, she ran as an Indian American.
Correct.
Okay, because her mom or dad?
One of them is
Indian. I think her dad is Indian and her mom is.
But then now as president, she's running as an African American.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, she's running as a black woman.
Okay, so she will change the minority according to what election and what voters she needs.
Her other parent was from Jamaica.
Okay.
But she didn't identify with her black heritage or her Jamaican heritage.
And she just went straight to I'm African American.
She went
from Indian.
She was elected as a Indian American representative from or senator rather from California. And so that's how she comported herself.
Exactly. Do you know the comedy comedian George Carlin?
Sure,
Something-
very well. Yes.
He's been saying all this political correctness nonsense. He's been criticizing it since like 30 years ago, 40
Right.
years ago.
Right.
And I mean, he's dead now, right?
Right.
But imagine, I mean, back then I'm sure like it was still around, but
Mhm.
now it's got out of hand
Right.
and people are just taking advantage of it.
Right.
It just divides and divides even more.
Right. Yeah. It's just
And She
nonsense.
uses her minority to bank on that. Like changing the minority is insane. Being that minority and saying it is one thing, but
Mm.
actually changing it, she's just so conniving. So annoying.
chameleon,
I know. She's a conniving chameleon
right?
that only changes like 2 colors and they're always dark.
But I think she's a dark personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of. I mean, her laugh is cringeworthy.
Oh,
listen to
oh
her-
my! It's like
It's a cackle.
Yeah.
it's kind of like the villains. Like if an evil person
Mm.
had like a parrot as their like evil sidekick or
Mm.
henchman,
Mm.
and they like tried to copy their master's laugh. It sounds like that. It's like she's trying to do an evil laugh, but she can't because she's really just pathetic. So it just sounds like a pathetic laugh.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a thing that maybe you can help me understand this. So CNN,
Mhm.
you know, is all on board that Kamala is like the second coming of Christ. You know.
What?
Oh yeah.
They called her the second coming
no,
of
no,
Christ?
no. But they
Oh.
behave. They behave.
Oh, okay. If they actually call it
No,
that,
no,
that
no.
would be so funny.
Right, but their behavior. I mean, because she didn't get any good press during the first 3.5 years of the Biden administration. Right?
Yeah.
So no one gave her any respect or anything. She had a revolving door of her staff personnel that would come and go because I guess they couldn't tolerate working for
Yeah.
her. So suddenly, when it was decided that she would somehow, they swept aside Joe Biden and they said, okay, you're going to be our
Yeah. I always thought that this was Kamala's plan.
Mhm.
That she would back Joe because he has dementia, which means that something's going to happen. He's going to die in office, and she
Right.
would,
She's getting the presidential briefings too now.
exactly. Wait, why are they giving her the presidential briefings? Oh, yeah, because she's acting.
She's kind of like the acting president.
Yeah, president right now. That's
sort of.
freaky.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that was part of the deal. You just
Yeah.
slip into the background.
Mm.
We'll let you go out as president, but she's going to take
Yeah.
over.
I think she's always been doing it, though.
So the scuttlebutt is that President Obama gave Joe Biden a call and said,
yeah.
we're going to do this one of two ways. We can do the, was it 25?
Amendment 25.
Amendment 25, which means he's non-compos mentis, right?
Mhm.
And so that they would declare him not capable to fulfill his office.
Yeah.
They would remove him, and then Kamala would automatically be elevated
Mhm.
to president. They said we can do that, and we have the authority to do that, and we have good reason to do that.
Yeah.
Or you can step aside on your own volition. What would you want to do? So
He stepped aside.
that's
course.
kind of how that
You
came.
know, I remember I was watching the Republican convention
Mhm.
and Trump, was speaking and he was talking about what he would do to accept election results this might have been the debate or whatever.
Mm.
And he said that I will accept any election results so long as they're true and it's fair.
Right.
And that makes sense. I know exactly what he means. He just doesn't want any outward corruption, right? I switch straight to CNN right afterwards. And then they take out all the context and they just show him saying, I will not accept the election results.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at this. He's a tyrant. He thinks he's all self-important and entitled to be president and rule us all. And I'm like, oh my God, they literally what did I just see?
Right. They
It-
just
That
creatively
is like
editing.
that was the first and only time I ever in real time saw the media try to brainwash me.
Right.
Right in real time. I felt like I was in a North Korean torture chamber. That was so weird. It was out there.
It's called propaganda.
Yeah, it is. But it
Mhm.
was just wild.
Mhm.
But I mean, propaganda and misinformation, like blatant
Mhm.
misinformation, are a little different. There is a little bit divide between propaganda is like exaggeration.
Mhm.
Misinformation's full on straight out lies. Like you're not even there is no semblance of truth at all. At least for propaganda, at least 5% might be true. Something there's truth. You can if you look at propaganda, you see something's exaggerated, you
Mhm.
just de-exaggerate it and you find the truth.
Right.
So it's kind of just like the truth with a makeover. Whereas propaganda is a completely different outfit. I mean, not propaganda. Misinformation is a completely different outfit.
Mm.
So that's just freaky. But and then I remember like I've seen interviews with Nixon like after Watergate and all
Right.
that,
Mhm.
and he knows he always warned that the media is the most powerful thing in this country.
Correct.
It's not any party. Has
Right.
nothing to do with that. It's just the media. Forget about the voters. The media is the voters.
Right. So the media decided that Nixon needed to go,
Yeah.
and they just beat that drum, and then everybody says, "Yeah, okay," because they didn't want to, you know.
Well, again with Watergate, it's not just what Nixon did. He did try to cover it up. That was
That
a
was
little.
the
That
co-
was the thing.
The cover up was the crime.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Nixon,
When he
did
lost
deserve to be held accountable for that.
right.
But no one's holding anyone accountable now like that, like they
Right.
did.
Right.
So have you seen the Dustin Hoffman, All the President's Men?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Reminds me of that movie. Anyway.
You never did see Dave, by the way, did you?
I didn't see Dave. I'm sorry. It's not available free anywhere to
Oh.
stream.
Oh.
No one buys DVDs. There's no Blockbuster anymore. You have to like pay all these subscriptions.
I bet you can get it at the library.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Libraries are a thing.
Yeah.
Physical media.
Yeah.
See, these things don't cross my mind
Mm.
because if it's not,
It's a
I mean, I
digital
could get it
world.
on my phone. Oh yeah, I can just check it out for free. That's true.
Yes.
Libraries are free.
Yes. That's my motto, Deb knows this. What's my motto?
If it's free, it's for you.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
If it's free, it's for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense. I used to volunteer at the library. I think I did for 16 days. I used to shelve books, but then I realized this is not helping me at all.
Yeah.
I'm just shelving books.
Well, you learned the Dewey Decimal System.
I did. It gave me headaches the first time I tried. The fluorescent lighting and all these little numbers. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then people would always put books in the wrong spot.
They do because they're bored and it's just they don't want to take the time because they're too self-important and they don't want to take the time to figure it out.
Too annoying.
Yeah.
But if I go to the store, my mom will just take clothes out and we just put it. Like if we have like a dress, we'll just hang it where the underwears are. If we're walking where the underwears are and we want to put it back. So yeah, that happens. But then it's much easier to just take the dress and put it somewhere else. Or it might actually help the business because if the dress color matches the underwear color, they'll be like, I should buy both of those. Right. So yeah.
A little cross
New
merchandising.
perspective. Yes.
Cross merchandising.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we're gonna go with
I'm
that.
helping the store. I'm helping the economy.
So the individual that's in charge of that department probably sees it a different way.
Yeah, maybe they do, but
Yeah.
I have the customer perspective.
Yes.
Which means I'm an a-hole.
So we do see that no matter where you work, there's always stuff that's misfiled or
Even online, which is crazy.
Hmm.
When I was looking at college websites to look at, the criteria for applying,
Mhm.
I could tell a lot about the college based on how organized the websites were.
Yeah.
Columbia was giving me bad vibes.
Wow.
It was not organized. Notre Dame had a very, very organized website.
I believe that.
Yeah. I like that.
South Bend.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Oh, you have?
Mm.
Oh, okay, cool. What'd
Neat
you think?
school.
Oh,
Went to
okay,
see a football game there.
That's
Very cool. That was back in the 70s. It was an excellent experience. That was pretty cool. All right. So you ready, Deb? So we're going to first push the green button. There we go. And then we'll be right back. So we're going to take a 2-minute timeout and we'll return after these brief messages. Stick with us. And we're back. There we go. We did
did
it.
we did it?
We did. All right, then you can bring the sound down. Yeah, it's better to bring it down and let it run out on its own. Okay, very good. Okay, so you already turned it off. Okay, it's okay. It's good. All right, we're back. And so we're going to do a little bit of this day in history. Today is August 1st. So a brand new month. The U.S. population in the year 1790, we're going to look at that. The Constitution requires that the government conducts a census once every 10 years. The results are allocated used to allocate congressional seats, electoral votes, and government funding. The first U.S. census reported as of August 1st, 1790. You want to guess how many people? 4.5 million people.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was 1790.
Of the whole, wow.
That was the population of the U.S.
Oh my God, there's like no one.
Well, that was 1790.
And they were probably all on the East Coast.
That was all, yes, all
Yeah,
13,
of course.
All
The
colonies.
colonies. Yeah.
13 colonies / states now. And anyways, by the year, 1950, which is near where Deb
Wait,
and I were
I have
born.
a question. That's without the slaves, right? 4.5 million with slaves or no slaves? They
Wait,
didn't count the slaves at all, did they?
They were given a
3/5 clause, right?
I think so.
So that's with slaves.
I think
Kind
that
of.
happened during Lincoln's time. I think initially, I don't think they were counted, and then they decided to count them.
No, I remember with the congressional seating and stuff, the South, they were like, we have more slaves than actual white people. So I mean, how are we gonna like do the House of Representatives thing? I think they did 3/5.
Right.
So 3 out of 5 slaves is 1%.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's it. So does that count the 3/5? Do we know? Does it say?
It
No?
doesn't say, but
probably
I think
does.
you're right. I think that's probably was in the calculus.
Oh, okay.
So it may have been a few people more.
Yeah, bunch more probably
Right.
if you count the slaves.
So, and let's see now, by the year 2000, we had 70. So was it? So where are we at now? By the year 2010, the population has surpassed 308 million people. So I don't even know where it is today, but 4 years later, or 24 years later.
But if they count all the illegal people coming into our country,
that's
how
another
many other millions are there
Another
now?
10 million. Yeah, another 10 million. And interestingly enough, I saw on my news feed, and of course, you know, it's not real until, you know, it's a government stat.
Mm-hmm.
But there was somebody that said that they that there is a building, a community that's been set up for mostly illegal immigrants to give them a place to house them.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
14%. I don't know how they got this statistical number, but 14% of those people surveyed said that they were legally registered to vote.
Wow.
I hope this is not true,
Me too.
but it's
They shouldn't be able to vote.
correct.
Yeah, but you know, there's a
The
whole reason.
operative
There's a
word was
reason why the
illegal.
immigrants are getting special treatment and being pampered more than they should be.
Right.
Yeah. They're
Right.
being unconsciously bribed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good. Not good.
And I would say, since it's a Democratic government that is running our country now, they get the Democratic card.
Well, I don't know how that works out.
I mean, I don't think
get
they'll
to
get a
pick.
pick.
They pick a party. Yeah, I guess. Okay. So in 1873, on this date, San Francisco's very first cable car begins its operation on Clay Street Hill.
I love the cable cars.
It's very cool. Very cool. And in 1876, on this date, Colorado becomes the 38th state to join the Union. And in 1907, on this date, the Army establishes an aeronautical division that eventually becomes the U.S. Air Force. So, yes, that was the Army Air Corps.
Okay.
Right. And in 1941, on this date during World War II, the first Jeep rolls off an assembly line in Toledo, Ohio. Holy Toledo. So, yes, in 1941. And that was the Those were Willie's Jeeps, the very first
Right.
Jeeps.
There's like a World War II museum somewhere here in Stewart,
Mhm,
and they
yes.
had like a Jeep, and there was a dude, and he was like he's from the Czech Republic, but he was in the armed forces or whatever.
Right.
And he drove us around.
I've
in the-
met
in
him.
the
Yeah,
Jeep.
neat guy.
Yeah,
Mhm,
he drove
mhm,
us around in the Jeep, which was fun.
mhm.
Oh yeah, he was at the WSO thing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that guy.
They were there at the yeah, we did that last year over at
Yeah,
the Flagler Center.
yeah.
Yeah, the USO.
Oh, the USO dance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good fundraiser. So I think it was the 80th year anniversary for that building. That building was the original USO for the Stewart Martin County area.
Oh,
And
that's
so
cool.
all the soldiers that stayed at Camp Murphy would come up to dance with the local ladies and listen to live big band music. Pretty cool stuff. So that was this day in history, anyways. And see what Town Hall's got to say. So there's some conversation here. Let's see if this is need to update this, but well, anyways, there's just some weird stuff going on in the world. So there was a recent bombing that took place in Iran.
Oh, there's
from some
always a bombing in
Israeli jets. I think they had purchased some jets from the U.S. So they had some very specific munitions, and they took out some of the leadership of the Iranian military that were responsible for. Apparently there was a Iran missile strike that struck a schoolyard and killed 12 innocent children that were playing
Right.
in the schoolyard. So that was not good. So Israel says, yeah, not on our watch. So I guess they decided they find the guy who did it, and they
Mhm.
believe they located him and
Killed
I
him.
mean, yeah. So with extreme prejudice. So, so there's that. And we got what? Okay. I'll look at I'll do the countdown clock. So it's 5:55, 30, and we got 2 minutes and 12 seconds of commercial when we go out. So just have to do the math.
You want me to rant about something random?
Yes.
All right.
You
I'll
can
go
do
back
that.
let's talk about climate change, folks.
Sure.
All right. So
Did you believe in that?
I am sick. I don't. I
Oh.
mean, I know the climate might be changing, but I don't think we should do anything about it.
Okay.
Right. So this is the thing. You see people like Greta Thunberg, just like the mega church people.
Mhm.
They will advocate for climate change while they go to a climate change advocacy meeting. They will fly on a private jet that gives out carbon emissions.
Mm.
Now, before I say anything else, I'm going to go back to something Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about.
Okay.
Okay. So Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about how just random people living in homes, right? They'll support climate change and like animal rights and all those things,
Mhm.
right? But then when there's a rat, they'll like make a humane mouse trap or whatever, and then like the mouse or the rat is like unleashed back into the wild just to die a few days later, obviously, because the average life expectancy of something like a mouse is like 18 months maximum,
Right.
just gonna die another way. If they really wanted to be humane and cared about animal rights, they would let all the mice they could get live in their home,
There you go.
and then they'll live for 4 years if they
Yeah.
were in the house.
Yeah.
But of course, no one will do that.
No.
So it just goes back to people just thinking they're so important. I mean, the world is huge. And it goes back to like people being so egocentric and thinking, oh, God made man in his own image. How do you know that God made man in his own image? There's so many other things in the world that we know that he created. How do you know God didn't make his image? How do you know he doesn't look like a dog? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, dogs are better than humans. At least they must be closer to God. You don't see a dog kill another dog unless it's like rabid or super mentally ill, right? But we'll do it while we're sober and sane.
Right.
So, I mean, if I were God, I don't want to look like a human that's all nasty and sweaty. I'll be a dog. Maybe humans were invented to make dogs feel loved. Who knows?
All right. So we got to go. Say goodbye.
Anyway, bye, guys.
Bye. I did.